Hi, I'm Bob Terry, and you are watching Westerns on the Web, brought to you free by Wild West Toys, the only manufacturer of American-made Western toy cap guns. And I'm sitting here with Don Reynolds, and Don, the only TV series you were ever on is Kit Carson, right?
That's right.
The Adventures of Kit Carson, starring Bill Williams and Don Diamond, and we're bringing you those free here on the web. Anyway.
Yeah, I did do one other episode with Lassie.
Oh, now that's an episode of a TV show?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what the title of that is?
No, but I doubled little Timmy driving a ostrich in a cart against a racehorse.
So you were a stuntman?
I was a stuntman.
All right, okay. And so, but they didn't feature you at all. You were just a stunt double, like Jock Mahoney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Don was in the Teton tornado with Bill Williams and Don Diamond, and you haven't seen that since when?
Since right after it came out.
Well, it was filmed in '51, and so anyway, so you don't remember much about it, probably.
Not really.
Okay, so we're going to watch the Teton tornado.
Okay.
And what can you remember about it right now? Anything? Any specifics?
I remember riding the racehorse, which is what they got me for, and I remember flubbing one line for about 6 times. I was supposed to come in and say Mom Vi or Mom V, one or the other, and I was wrong every time for about 6 shots, and finally I got it.
How did everybody else do? Were they nailing their lines?
No, they were doing fine. It was just me.
Were you nervous, or was it just...
I have no idea. I just know that was the last acting that I did.
Were you just done with it by then?
I think so. I was wanting to get out.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, we're going to watch the Teton tornado, and then we're also going to... well, you'll be able to watch it right after this interview, and then we're going to have some stuff here at the end, too. We're going to talk about it a little bit.
You covered, Toro.
Kit Carson.
And what are you doing here?
Well, I take refuge from the sun. Besides, it's much more romantic to ride in the cool of the evening.
You mean that's when you can smell a good supper cooking in some wayside kitchen?
Always you catch on to me.
You want to come along?
Well, will the job be interesting?
Might be. Oh, tell them what it might lead to.
Well, what are we waiting for? Vámonos.
Morning, John.
Well, Kit Carson. Sit down and make yourself comfortable.
Get any information for me?
Well, nothing that you don't already know. The man you're after has been going up and down California, tricking horses with an unbeatable swindle. All of his races are crooked, but I can't prove it.
Maybe we will soon. Here's the latest Sacramento paper. Your ad's on the front page.
All right, where nobody can miss it. Wanted to buy fine quarter horse. Must be very fast. John Maxwell, Ukiah, California. Well, that should get us some offers. Well, that's that shooting gallery down the street.
I know. El Toro's running it. I'll see if he's got any information for me.
You mean you've had him planted here all week?
El Toro and I always work together. See you later, John.
In the white. Better luck next time. Why don't you try again, senor? 5 shots for only $1. Oh, by the way, caballero, do you know anyone who has for sale a very fine and very fast quarter horse? Kit Carson, amigo. Buenos dias.
El Toro, good morning.
Did you say Kit Carson?
Seguro, that's the name his father gave him. I'm forgetting my manners, amigos. This is Ned Bonner, my very efficient assistant.
Glad to know you, Ned.
Say, I bet you can make mincemeat out of that old target.
Which reminds me, Chico, we better change the target to get ready for the next customer.
Sure thing.
Did you get any information for me on this horse swindle?
Every sport in the county tries to win this ham, but nobody has for sale a fine, fast quarter horse.
Well, Maxwell's ad just came out in the paper. Maybe that'll lead us to our man.
Kit.
Your old son again. Brad Randall. The last I heard of you, you were on the upper Sacramento doing some trapping. How'd you make out?
Oh, I didn't catch nothing. Those miners moved in like a bunch of locusts. So I said to myself, Brad, you've been clean bankrupt by the gold rush. Only one way to get even. Go down and raid the settlements.
Yeah, I guess you have got something coming. Oh, by the way, this is my good friend El Toro, Brad. Howdy.
It's always a pleasure to meet the friends of Kit Carson. Would you like to try your skill with the 6-gun? For $1 and 5 shots in the black, you can win this delicious ham.
Sure.
All 5 in the black.
Oh, adios, Senor Hamon. You've been a good servant and a faithful ham. Now go to the table of this fortunate winner.
What's your name, son?
It's Ned, sir.
My friends call me Brad. Want to do something for me?
Sure, mister. Brad.
Take this home and give it to your mother with my compliments.
Gee, thanks, Brad. She can use it. She certainly can. May I take it right home, El Toro? In time for supper.
Sí, muchacho, ándale.
Smart boy. Who's his father?
Well, it's not a happy story. His father's the late Judge Bonner,
Ah, sounds like a good family.
but not a rich one. His mother runs a boarding house. I wish you'd put up there, Kit. She needs the money, and the food is magnifico.
Thanks for the tip.
Since I'm now out of business, I can take you there pronto. Hasta la vista.
See you, Brad.
Hi, Kit. Well, you can see he's built for speed. But don't take my word for it. Try him out for yourself. But I want to warn you, don't give him slack rein or he'll set the prairie on fire.
Well, fair enough.
Just bring him back when you're satisfied and pay me the money.
You'll be here?
No, a friend of mine recommended a boarding house of a Mrs. Bonner. You'll find me there. Mrs. Bonner?
I'm Miss Bonner. Where are your manners? A gentleman doesn't stare at a lady.
I'm no gentleman. I'm Brad Randall. Where do I bunk?
I'm sorry, all our rooms are filled tonight.
Now, El Toro told me you're open for business, and you needed the money. There you are. Cash on the barrelhead. There's plenty more where that came from.
Just a minute.
Oh, don't bother to show me. I'll just pick a bunk that suits my build.
Go on with your game, gentlemen. Supper isn't quite ready yet.
Gracias, señora.
Come on in. Oh, Mr. Maxwell. Back mighty soon. Shake hands with my friend El Toro.
Howdy.
Well, what'd you think of my quarter horse?
He's back in the corral.
Well, I asked you what you thought of him.
Well, I'd rather not embarrass you with an opinion.
What kind of talk is that? What's the matter with him?
Well, he lacks speed. I've got an old horse out the ranch called Rusty. Could beat him blindfolded.
Well, I got $500. Says my horse will beat him or any other horse in the state. Brad, I wouldn't make a bet like that with Maxwell. After all, he's timed both horses. He knows he has the faster one. I still make my claim. My horse will beat his nag. El Toro, you be the stakeholder. Just a minute, Brad. He made his brag. Now let him put up or shut up. There's mine. Match it.
You consider this man responsible?
El Toro can be trusted with anybody's money, except his own.
Gracias, amigo.
Where do you want the race to be run?
I've got a piece of road out at the ranch measured off.
Anytime, any place suits me.
How about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning?
I'll be there.
I'll see you.
So this is how you raid the settlements. I know what I'm doing.
Caramba, $500 is a lot of money to win or to lose.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Supper is served, boys.
What's on the stove?
Oh, a surprise treat. Something you don't often see in these parts. Baked Virginia ham.
Huh.
What's so funny about Virginia ham?
I shot it. Oh, come here, son.
Oh, hello, Brad.
You want to do me a favor?
Why, sure. Anything you want. You know that.
Can you ride a fast horse?
Yes, sir. I've had my own horse ever since I was a kid.
Well, I want you to ride one of mine tomorrow. Would you do that for me?
Would I?
Good boy.
Say, the boys would like to bet another 20 on our horse. How about it?
You're on, gents.
My horse is in the lead.
Yeah, but he won't hold it. Come on, Ned.
Ride him, Shorty. Your horse certainly didn't run like the one I clocked yesterday.
He's the same. And my boy ran him fair and square. I'll take my money now. Nice going, Ned. I'll come out right back to town, I think.
Well, what do you make of it, Kit?
Haven't quite decided yet. See you later. Hasta luego.
Mom, bye. Look what I earned this morning.
$20.
And Brad promised me I could ride all of his races. You and Vi won't need to take in boarders anymore.
You crazy kid.
I'm not a kid anymore. I'm a jockey now.
I don't think you better plan on a career as a jockey for Brad Randall or anyone else.
Remember, you were going to apprentice in Senator White's office and become a judge someday like your father was.
But we need the money right now. And besides, Brad said I could win every time I ride.
In this life, muchacho, things are not so well ordered.
He's right, Ned.
But I could have won by more than 6 lengths this morning if I hadn't held my horse back like Brad told me.
I know. Brad didn't want anyone to know just how fast that horse really is. Is Mr. Randall up in his room?
No, he hasn't come in yet.
It's funny, his horse is outside.
I rode him in. Brad took the racehorse down to the creek. Wanted to water him.
Yes, I guess he was pretty thirsty after that race.
And also muy caliente. Mira, your amigo, he comes now.
Well, a reception for the winner. Step right up, ladies, and name the presents you want. How about a ring for that pretty little hand, Vi?
This is a boarding house, not a dance hall. I'll help you fix dinner, Mother. Come on, Ned. We need some more wood for that stove.
Gee, ain't she? It's like a slap in the face from a beaver's tail.
You're not in the mountains anymore, Brad.
I can take care of myself.
Sure, the tornado of the Tetons, taking just what he wants, high, wide, and handsome. Not caring very much how he gets it. Step up to my room, Brad. I'd like to have a little talk with you.
Same old teacher, huh? Or is it nursemaid?
on your mind? Our old friendship, a horse race, and a race that you just won with a ringer.
A ringer? Oh, what's a ringer, kid? You know I'm just an ignorant mountain boy.
A ringer is a horse that is rung in on a race under a different name. A horse that only the owner knows is running. You should know all about ringers, Brad. You just had Ned ride one for you.
What makes you suspect me of a thing like that?
Because the horse you just rode into town is not the horse that ran the race. If he were, you would have walked him back to town while he cooled off. Not rode him while he was still hot.
Take a look at him yourself.
I did. They're enough alike to be twins, which they probably are. The horse that ran against Maxwell's horse is a better horse. He has better shoulders. That's why you're in such a hurry to get away after the race this morning.
You're smarter than I gave you credit for. You know, you and me ought to go partners.
What you ought to do is go over to Maxwell. Give him back his money.
He can afford to lose $500.
Mm-hmm. But can you afford to lose 5 years of your life?
There ain't nobody gonna jail Brad Randall.
The law has a name for what you're doing. Conspiracy to commit theft.
You've got no evidence.
I didn't want any. If I'd have followed you to the creek this morning where you switched horses with El Toro as my witness, I'd have to turn you over to the marshal right now. But I thought I'd give you another chance, just for old time's sake.
Mighty big of you.
I'm giving you 24 hours to run that race over again. But this time with a horse that you originally tried to sell Maxwell. And this time he's going to get his money back.
If I do, then what?
You and I will both be in the clear, and you can wash your hands of this business.
Oh, speaking of business, how'd you like to mind your own?
Just had a talk with Randall. He should be over here before the day is over.
Well, with my money, I hope.
Oh, I couldn't demand that of him. Might as well ask him to plead guilty.
But then how am I going to get my money?
If he should challenge you to another race, you take him up on it. Only this time, his horse will lose.
Oh, I get the setup. Say, it sounds like you got the goods on him.
No, I haven't. There's not enough evidence to warrant an arrest.
Well, not yet. But I've been doing some thinking, kid. Now, Randall must have 2 horses, maybe 3, that look enough alike to be brothers, and probably are.
Yeah, that's possible.
Now, wherever he's got this fast horse staked out, it can't be too far from town. Say, me and the boys wouldn't have to cover much territory to uncover that animal.
When will you start looking for him?
Well, pretty soon if Randall doesn't come up with that offer you mentioned.
Give him a chance, John. Where's Brad?
Kinsawi, he's not at the creek, but his slow horse is still there.
He's probably out taking care of the fast one. We'll catch him at the boarding house.
Hello there. I'm sorry, no mail for either of you.
Well, the only time that El Toro gets a letter is to tell him that again he's an uncle.
Is Brad around?
I haven't seen Mr. Randall.
When you see him, will you tell him I'd like to talk to him?
Oh, Vi. You know, if my eyes were ailing, they'd be well right now.
Kit Carson wants to talk to you.
Well, it's your voice I'd rather listen to.
I wouldn't be too sure of that. I'm not at all pleased about the $20 you gave my brother.
Well, if you think he was underpaid...
He was overpaid. You're giving him an idea of life in terms of easy money. You could be the ruin of that boy.
You know, when you get all het up, you're as cute as a bug's ear. Too cute to be a waitress in a boarding house.
But I like being a waitress. You meet such interesting people.
And you interest me. As a matter of fact, you're the only girl who ever really has. I got a good mind to let you hog-tie me and settle me down.
You'll have to excuse me now. Mother and Ned are out, and I have all the work to do.
Let it wait.
Mr. Randall, I'm here to serve the guests and make them comfortable. But that doesn't mean I'm here to be mauled and pawed over.
Now, don't get me wrong, honey. Old man Randall's on the level. I'm giving you a chance to trade that apron for a wedding gown. Chance to get yourself waited on while we honeymoon in a swell hotel in Frisco.
Take your hands away.
So you don't think I'm good enough for you? You don't like me? Well, I'm gonna give you a chance to find out different.
No! Stop him! Stop it! Let me go!
now when there can be no killing.
What's been going on here?
A little argument, senora.
Little.
It's all over now, but no one seems to be hurt.
Now get out of here. Where's my gun?
Adios, Senor Randall.
I don't take orders from you, nor any man. I'll give you 2 hours to get out of town, and I'm coming after you.
Well, this is it. Now we've got proof.
Your kid's best friend. Can't you reason with him?
There are some things a man must do, senora, or he can no longer call himself a man.
What did you find out?
Brad Randall is still in town. He's waiting for Kit somewhere on the street. Everyone knows about him and Kit.
What about Marshal Trent? Why can't he put Randall in jail?
There's no charge, there's no evidence.
If my husband were alive,
I'm sorry, senora. It cannot be avoided. Kit cannot back down, and Brad will not.
Kit, don't go.
If I don't, he'll come here.
You could leave town.
That's asking quite a lot of a man.
I'm afraid you're right.
Don't you realize no matter what happens, I'll blame myself?
You needn't. This all began long before either one of us ever met you.
I don't understand.
Brad is a man of the outdoors, and so am I. I gave him every chance, but he either wouldn't or couldn't learn to be civilized. This was bound to happen. Sooner or later, we were bound to clash.
But there must be some other way out.
Well, he set his own time, and his time's running out.
There's nothing I can do about Randall yet. I can't arrest a man just for begging.
Look!
Better get off the street, men. Looks like it's going to be trouble. All right, get on your feet.
Marshal, hold that man.
What's the charge?
Grand theft, and I can prove it. There's the ringer he used to cheat me on a crooked horse race. We found him pegged out over Loma Creek.
Yeah, I heard all about that race. Thanks, John. You're going to get free room and board for a while. Some of you boys get to dock. All right, Randall, let's go.
Pretty tough having to draw on a man who was once your friend.
I only wanted to wing him.
Well, I'm glad you didn't kill him. A man like that might turn out to be a useful citizen if he's learned his lesson.
As I ought to know.
Well, it didn't take jail to teach you.
Mr. Maxwell, here's your $20, sir.
That's the $20 that Brad gave him for riding his horse.
Well, you keep it, Ned.
No, I don't want anything to do with crooked money.
You'll do.
Kit, we're so relieved.
I'm relieved myself.
Young man, where have you been?
I gave Mr. Maxwell the money I thought earned honestly yesterday.
Caramba, I can no longer call you muchacho. That was the action of a man.
You don't have to worry anymore about me and the law, Mom.
The only kind he wants is between book covers in Judge White's office.
Ned.
Well, it's time to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Adios.
See, you were telling me all kinds of stuff during the show, and I wanted to save that till now.
Uh-huh.
Okay. You were talking about Bob Carson.
Yes.
But they called him John. But
and I never knew that. I thought his name was Bob all these years.
So you were saying that he practically lived with y'all for a winter or something?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So tell me about him, because he's in several episodes. This is only the 18th episode of Kit Carson, and he is in a lead in this episode 17. He is called The Return of Trigger Dawson, and he's Trigger Dawson.
Uh-huh.
So what about
Well, he
Bob?
was just a stunt man, and like I say, he practically lived with us one winter back in the late 40s, early 50s. And anyway, I've been around him forever, it seemed like, and he was a stunt man and actor halfway, like me. And anyway, he was just a very dear friend.
Good deal. So did he do stuff at rodeos and stuff too?
No, he was strictly in the business, in the movie business. He didn't do much in the rodeo that I ever saw, anyway.
So with this, do you remember where it was filmed?
Yeah, it was filmed in Burbank.
In Burbank?
Yeah.
Well, what Western set would that have been? Do you know?
Don't remember. It might have been Columbia. I don't know.
Okay. And how long did y'all take to film this?
3 days, I think.
So
for my part,
yeah,
we were on location 2 days, and I think we shot 1 day in the studio.
Shot in the studio,
yeah.
And so
that was in the house there, where all the stuff in the town.
So in relevance, where the house was, where was the house? Was it at the town, or was it in a different place?
It was in the studio next to the town.
Okay.
It was indoors.
So it's all movie tricks.
Yeah. And then the location was out in San Fernando.
Okay.
Where we did the racing and stuff.
So how far away was that from where?
Well, back then that was quite a ways, but it was only about 15 miles or 20 miles. Of course, now there is no vacant area out there, so it's all city.
I've never been to California, so I don't know. Yeah, I've seen it across like Lake Havasu,
yeah,
but I've never been to California. So, like when you would get a gig like this, you know, how far in advance did you know that you were cast for this episode?
I have this particular one. I think I had like 2 weeks to get ready for it.
And when did you get your script?
In 2 weeks.
In
before,
2 weeks,
yeah.
so you had 2 weeks to prepare for it.
Prepare for it. And at 16, I didn't prepare very well. So.
16, I didn't prepare for anything very well.
No, I don't know if I was 16. It was 51. I was born in 37, so what does that make? I was only 15.
I have to count on my fingers.
Yeah.
So you were only 15?
Well,
you were born in 37?
Yeah, 47.
I mean,
47 is 10 years, and then
48, 49, 50, 51. You were only 14.
Yeah, 14.
If you hadn't had your, you were only 14. So, and and this was released it aired on December 8th of 51.
Well, we made it probably earlier in the summer.
Okay, so that I'm just wondering how long they stayed ahead of schedule on these.
I have no idea.
How far?
Because it was warm. It wasn't cold.
Yeah, it looked like it was plenty warm. All right, I got a couple other questions. Let's see here. Like the film quality. I mean, that's the best copy I think I could find.
Yeah.
And there's all kind of little splotches and stuff, and that's a real shame because a lot of people worked really hard to to make that.
Well, that's the same with all my old movies. They're all dilapidated, and like the Red Ryder movies, there's a couple of them, and there's not very good quality at all.
Wow.
And they just didn't save them because it was too expensive to reproduce them, and when they wore out, they just threw them away.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
That's a real shame.
There's a lot of movies that got that way, too. I mean, not just mine, but some really big movies fell apart because they were nitrate or something or other. That's why they started redoing everything down at Universal Studios.
Yeah, I think there's some movies that all that's left is the posters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a shame.